Hey,
Yay!
I got booted for a second. It was weird.
I was like, where'd you go?
The whole app just closed. It was like gone.
No, I was telling everybody else that I might go on with you on the thin line and letting them know about talking about my journey and stuff like that. And then I started talking about you, and then you showed up. I'm like,
Oh my
Deb,
god,
did
that's
you
funny.
summon
And I just was making the event and putting the information into the thin line.
her? Okay.
So
Yeah,
we're probably
earlier.
talking about it
So
at the
there
same
were a
time.
lot of people in here earlier, and we told them all about it.
That's funny. I love that. What are you doing now?
Sorting charms so I could add them to some bracelets.
You look really
Because
cute.
I'm charging my iPad, I have to draw an invitation, so I'm waiting for it to charge. So I figured I'd just jump on here.
Yeah, I like them. They look cute. The ones that you've shown so far are really cute.
Yeah, they're really nice quality too. I got them on Amazon. I'm gonna post a link if anybody is into crafting. These are really good. These are nice.
Good.
Little a bunch of arrows. So I'm just sorting them by type. But I wanted to jump on here and I was like, I haven't formally introduced myself. I just kind of jumped on here and started doing readings that I hadn't done before, and it just all came together naturally. And I don't know how I did it. I don't know. I didn't consciously do anything like last Friday. Deb was in here. She was helping me a ton. I had intended to jump on here last Friday night. I had these. It's the Healing Energy Oracle. So I was just going to pull
Okay.
some Oracle cards, right? Just for fun, just like, do a little bit of that. I was going to be on here for 20 minutes and jump on another live. And then Deb jumped in here and she says, "Are you doing readings?" And I wasn't.
Oh
I
no.
was. But since it was for Deb, something in my head said, "Yeah, do it." I was like, "Yeah, okay, I'll do it." And I still have them right here. The the one Sarah recommended, the Angel Wisdom
Ooh.
Tarot.
Yeah.
So I told Deb, "Yeah, I got these right here. I can do one for you." After that, after I did the reading for Deb, I lost track of space and time, and yeah, that your guides came in here and just
Deb
opened the
opened the
doors.
floodgates. I love that. Love it. Love
I
it.
stayed on till 1 in the morning Friday night.
It can, yeah, when you get into the like groove of it, it can time goes by like really fast. Like you lose track of time when you're doing
Yeah,
it. I feel like.
and because I wasn't really paying attention, I wasn't looking at the time. I wasn't even looking at the comments. The only comments I would check is whatever person I was talking to. That's the ones I was checking, right? I wasn't looking at the time. I wasn't looking at anybody else's comments. I had
Right.
my blinders on and I was just going with it. And I kept going with it till 1 in the morning. And I wasn't tired. I don't think I slept.
It can be, yeah, it can give you a lot of energy.
Hmm.
Sometimes I struggle if I go live at night going to sleep.
Yeah, that's why I figured I'll
Who am I
just do
kidding?
the
I struggle going to
morning
sleep.
ones. But I kept, it was the excitement of it all because I hadn't done it. I've done it with friends. I've done it through the thin line for other people, right? I've been, losing that fear of
Yeah.
reading and connecting and channeling. So I've been doing that, but I've never done it on live the way it happened on Friday.
Do you think it was the spontaneity of it that kind of helped you just go?
Maybe.
You
I
didn't really
think
have time to
Deb
plan
was a
other things.
trigger.
That was the
Deb
trigger.
was a trigger. She said, "Are you doing readings?" I was like, "Yeah, sure."
That dang Deb.
But I think because I had connected to her guides before, one of her guides before. So I was comfortable connecting again because I knew her energy. So I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it." And I connected right away. And this was like a female voice, and it told me to tell her to listen to herself. And the message on the cards that came out is the same message she gives us on in the morning, every single morning. It was her message to her. Oh my gosh, I was cracking up. It was hilarious. I'm like, Dad, you gotta listen to yourself.
So you went live. How many people did you have in the room with you?
On Friday,
Mm-hmm.
close to 1,000, it said on my thing, but
Oh,
I
that's
think I
good.
kept thinking like 100 at a time, in and out, in and out. At one point, I saw 300. And I did it again yesterday morning. Same thing, but yesterday morning I had over 1,000 in here, jump in, but I only was able to read just a few people. But because of the way I do it, I take my time and it takes me a while. She said, take my own medicine. About 10 minutes or so per person, but I like really connecting, really trying to listen if they're trying to tell me something, or really see what they're trying to show me, or really feel what they're trying to make me feel, because it's one or the other. Sometimes I'll hear, sometimes I'll really feel, my energy centers or actual physical pain. I didn't know I could do all that
Yeah.
just by connecting to somebody's energy. I had no idea. I had
Did you
no idea.
struggle connecting with energy or being overwhelmed at all when, especially with so many people?
I wasn't.
No?
That I think that's why I stayed on so long. I don't, okay, I did it. I don't know how I did it, but I was able to just focus on the one, connect to the one person and only focus on them. Like, so I had like my energetic blinders, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I don't know how or why I did it. It just felt natural. It felt easy. Like, I honestly feel like a lot of the stuff I've done before, I have done before. I haven't tapped into all of them, of the when, right? In the past, I might
Yep.
have done it. But it feels like I've already done it. It feels like I've done it for so long, but and Deb knows in the past few years
Yeah.
of this new
Development.
journey. But I keep saying new journey, but I've already tried it a long time ago. I suppressed it for like almost 20 years. And after that huge boulder broke off when I called, that opened up my spiritual floodgates. And then my guides started coming in like, learn this, now do that. Learn to not absorb your emotions, pull them out and have them in front of you. Like my guides just came in like sergeants, and I was in boot camp. Just like, learn this, learn that. Come, they would come in my dreams. They would come in during the day and like teaching and teaching and learning, like bringing it all back. So when I jumped on and did readings and just connected to the one person, it felt natural. Like I keep saying like I knew what I was doing, but it just feels like I have done it before.
Yeah.
But in reality, in this lifetime, in this timeline, I just jumped into it recently. But I've
Gotcha.
done it somewhere before, or I am doing it somewhere else. I 100% believe that now because it's too familiar.
And it's interesting, like you said that after talking to me is when it opened up because there's always a catalyst, right? There's always
Yeah,
something that kicked it off. And it can be something as simple as opening yourself up to a conversation,
yeah,
taking the first step to have a conversation, to connect in some way. And that is the beauty of it, right? Like we don't have to do these big things to be able to start on a journey or
hmm,
catapult ourselves into a spiritual awakening. It's really about just being open to it.
yeah. But I mean, the big boulder I had to get rid of was related to tarot. It was from a very strong reading that I got like 20 years ago now. That scared me,
Mm-hmm.
that scarred me, traumatized me, that I could not comprehend. I couldn't understand why I got it. I couldn't understand what I did. I felt some shame over it, and I chose to never do it again. I don't want to touch cards again. Like in my mind, this blockage grew and grew and grew and grew. But my guides kicked me back into this and basically just said, go, do it. This is you. And I had to call you. I had to get rid of this, but I couldn't do it by myself.
Yeah.
I couldn't. This
I
was
mean, it's totally
something I
understandable
couldn't.
too. That was a big thing, right? That was
Yeah.
sometimes when we do readings and we get these messages and they're very intense or big messages, we don't understand why we get them,
Yeah.
right? Especially when we're not meant to change it. We're just meant to kind of deliver a message.
Or just
So
receive it. Like
that can be a
in
little
my
difficult.
case, I chose not to deliver it
Mhm.
because in my heart I knew it wouldn't make a difference, but I also felt like it was true and it was something that was going to happen, but it scared me. And when it did happen, thank you, Michelle. When it did happen, that's what scared me.
Yeah.
When that message that came through my head came to be, that's what scared me.
Yep.
And I think that's still the biggest clear that I don't want to tap into is the knowing. My guys know that, but they told me it's all or nothing. But that's like the one I keep pushing back. Like I don't want to know. I don't know if I want to know at all.
You know, I've heard, and this is what I personally practice, and it works for me, is if I'm not supposed to make a change or deliver, I don't want to know.
Okay.
Right? I don't want to know. Like if I'm not supposed to give a message or in somehow way support the person, I
Hmm.
don't want to know. Because one time for
Okay.
me, I wasn't to give the message, but I was to support the person,
Okay. So
knowing that something
that's
was
in
coming
my
up.
case, that's what happened.
Yeah, knowing that what was coming up, it was more about getting the person ready for that journey.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
So you can always try that and see if that works for you. Um, but that's a very understandable fear and
Hmm.
resistance that comes with it.
Yeah. Yeah. My whole resistance for doing tarot again, doing any kind of reading was having to receive one of these like types of messages again and just like freeze, not know what to do. But my face gives it away if it's a good message or a bad one. Like, I put up a video on YouTube. You can see my facial expressions when I'm listening to to the guys. I'm just like trying to close my eyes so I could listen better. My face gives everything away, and that was my biggest fear is getting another message and my face just like in shock or scared or like
You're giving
and
something away.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
my intention is always, like you said, just a message of guidance. That's
yeah.
what I try to focus on.
And we were talking about tarot because you went live and you were talking to me about tarot
Hmm.
and not knowing every card by heart.
Yeah, I don't know the by the book meanings. I don't. And like it's just a knowing. Like when I put a card down, I don't even not even looking at the pictures, right? Not even looking at the guide words on the bottom because I love that deck. It has words underneath.
Hmm.
Even when I'm putting it down, I'm already getting like the message or the meaning, but I can't, and I've tried. I have a book, tried going through the by the book meanings and messages, and I keep trying to put it in my head, but it won't stick. The meanings don't stick in my head, and maybe I'm not meant to.
They're meant as tools, right? They're meant
Yeah.
as tools. Now, like when we get the Tower card or we get the Death card or anything like that, you know, it's to me, you know, it's not going to be a message of happy, happy, joy, joy, you know,
Hmm.
but it's going to be a message of transformation and change. So just knowing either the little things or going with what you said, you know, like really just listening to what the message that's wanting to come through. And that's the importance of it, is
Yeah.
just picking up the message that's wanting to come through and trusting it.
I want, if you can help me, Juliana, give some advice to Michelle because this is true, and unfortunately, it's the case with a lot of readers on TikTok. There's so many, too many. Okay, um, when you go to someone and you get a reading that doesn't resonate, or it feels like it's not yours, or hey, like something like that could scar you or scare you, from doing it again or reaching out to somebody different or reaching out to someone else. What advice do you have for when something like that happens?
It sucks when that happens because I've had it happen a few times too, and it can really scare the living daylights out of you and make you very turned off by everything. For me, it's really important to, if you don't resonate with the message, right? If you don't
Mhm.
resonate with the message, for me, it's you let it go. Okay. And the reason I say that is because even if you don't resonate with now, there's some that will come and you'll understand it later down the road. However, if it's delivered in a negative or incorrect way, me and message in a negative way.
Mhm.
Right? You've heard me talk about some heavy, heavy things, and I
Yeah.
don't deliver it in a negative way. I deliver it in a way that's giving you guidance and
Mhm.
support. And there's just some people that you don't resonate with, that you don't connect with. And that's okay. Separate, to each their own, and find the people that you connect with. Find the people that resonate for you. Find the people that do readings in a way that you find supportive, that you find that can guide you, and that you can be able to communicate with them. That's a big thing too. When you're getting a reading, are you able to communicate with them and ask them questions afterwards?
Mhm. True.
Through
Because
direct
I
message,
have bumped
email, whatever it
into
is.
the readers that just have the deck in their hands, and there's a bunch of yes or no questions like going through the comments, and they're just flipping it. They're just flipping the card. Like, that's not nice. I just want to say
You gotta
that.
trust the reader. Yeah. You gotta really trust the reader, especially depending on the topic, right? Because depending on the topic, it can really send you into a tailspin. So just understanding and feel their energy. When you're in the room, feel the energy, see how the readings are going, and if it resonates with you, go for it. And then if it doesn't, message doesn't resonate with you or it doesn't feel good to you, leave it.
True. Yeah. Yeah, because it's like when you read a book, you take the best part of the book that you can connect to, or you like mark it in the book so you can go back to it. The whole book isn't gonna be, something you need, but certain parts of the book would be. So that's how I take it too, the readings. Like if there's a message I need to hold on to, I hold on to it, and the rest just, you know, move it out of the way.
Exactly. Exactly. Michelle, I hope
Like,
that helps. Hi, Francois.
like, Francois is also an energy healer. I've done some classes with him as well. So, Zach, this is Julianna. So she's been my mentor teacher for a couple years now. Yeah. So for like 2 years. And I've been helping her out with her website too. So,
Yeah, it's
and
fun.
I, I, I have, how do I describe it? I've tried to connect with my art intuitively now as well, which I didn't know was something that could be done.
Absolutely. Yeah. And how is that going?
Well, because now it's even faster for me to put something together. Let's say when a client comes with a logo. So some people don't know what they want until they see it, right?
Right.
I have somehow learned to tap into their energy, see their vision that's in their head, and put it on paper or put it on the computer. And they're
You
like,
do that
yes,
all the time with
that's
me.
the
Yes.
thing. That's what I wanted.
You do that all the time with me because she'll be like, "What do you want?" I'm like, "I have no idea. I have it in my head, but I don't know how to like say it and how to explain it." And she will come back exactly. And I'm like, "How do you do this? How
I
do
don't
you
know.
do this every time?" Oh, thank you, Healing Pass. Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. The
Oh, so
visibility one.
last night I did a class with Zach, and we went into the Akashic Records again. And I asked my guide lady. So remember when I went in with you and you said, look for your um kind of guide inside of there, right? Someone that could take you through and guide you through there. It's the same lady that met me the first time. Oh, this really nice lady. So I went in there with the intention of wanting to visualize more. Okay, so as soon as I went in there, something was happening to my third eye. Like rubbing it, healing it. It was like moving, right? So I wanted to visualize more because I put out, especially when I connect. I'd rather just hear and feel, right? But now I want to visualize better, clearer, more. She took me to a whiteboard, a big whiteboard.
I
Pulled
love
out her
that.
dry erase marker. I wrote it down. What did she say? She said, draw what you hear.
Mm.
I was like, what? What do you mean draw what I hear? Okay, because I connect better hearing and feeling, right?
Yeah.
So it had me thinking for like 5 or 10 minutes, like, what does she mean? Draw what I hear. Okay, if I don't hear any descriptive words of colors or images or things, how am I supposed to draw what I hear? But I connected two and two, a connection between my ear and a connection between my third eye, and a little circle or something started forming. I'm like, does she mean like connect to the guide and energy that I'm listening to? Connect more so that I could get the visual.
Okay.
That's how I took it. But with her dry erase board and writing down, just draw what you hear, had me lost. I'm like, what does she mean?
It's always interesting to try and interpret what's coming through, right?
Yeah.
To try and fully understand it. And then at the same time, balance it. Because if you get too focused on understanding it,
Mhm. You
then you
get
lose the
stuck right there.
connection. Yeah, you're done. It's like gone.
It's like you
So,
get stuck trying to fit all the puzzle pieces together, but you still haven't even pulled out the cards yet. Like you're just stuck.
I actually have
Like,
on Sunday. I have another breathwork journey into the Akashic records. Another.
oh, okay.
So if you're interested, the link's in my
Mhm.
bio. But if you want to come, let
Yeah.
me know, and I'll get
Yeah,
you
I'll
started.
add it to my links. I'm actually going to redo my bio here to have more of the links on it, sort of like a link tree, but I do it through my website. So I'm going to change it up a little bit to have more stuff in there
Yeah, the
where
energy
everyone
this
can
month.
access and join.
Yeah, the energy this month was clarity. So I was like, let's go into the Akashic records and see
Oh, and
clarity.
see, I love that. Last night I specifically went in. I want clarity
Mhm.
because I feel like we all get this sometimes, right? Flashes of images or words just popping in, right? Or maybe pinging on our body, just like little things, right? But clarity is what gives us that focus. Like if we get a flash of an image, right? Okay, try to hold on to the little flash and try to expand it or hold it for a little bit longer. That is clarity. Really seeing it. Like they're throwing us the pictures or they're throwing the words at us, but if we focus on it just for a little bit longer, that gives us the clarity. That gives us the clear message, and then we put it together. Hey,
Love it.
Kiki.
Hi, Kiki. But yeah, um, I got my breathwork facilitator certification, so we'll be doing breath work
Mhm.
and going into the Akashic records
On Sunday.
on Sunday.
And for those of you who don't know her and are interested, you can click on her profile pic. She's got all her links on there on her website and everything. I'm gonna add it to mine too later today so people could sign up. But man, this has been a journey. It's been more of a roller coaster, if I could describe it accurately,
Yeah,
a roller coaster ride.
yeah. Because you have your highs, but you also have your lows, right? And then
Hmm.
when those lows are the ones that really just
Those
make
are
you
the
think,
ones
like,
that
what do you do?
sometimes bring in the self-doubt.
Yep.
It's those moments where you're like, am I really able to do this? Am I really uh clairvoyant? Am I really a healer? Was the big one for me.
Yeah.
Because that came out of nowhere.
That, it did and it didn't, right? Like, for me and for you, it did and it didn't. Like, when it wasn't something you were focusing on, but it was something that I totally saw.
Yeah.
If that
Yep.
makes sense.
It was like what would you call it? Because I was focusing on everything else, right? I
You
was
were.
focusing on my shadow work, my inner child work. I was focusing on the healing. But one day, I think I was watching somebody doing Reiki live on TikTok, and I had the phone in my hand, and I was in this like meditative Zen. I was connected at the moment, right? Just feeling, just receiving the Reiki, right? I don't know what got me to just do what they were doing, right? They had their hands out. So I took my hand, put it over my husband's, um, like backside, mid back, and I saw something in my head. I was like, what? what just happened? And it didn't spook me. It shocked me that I saw his insides with my hand and something dark
Hmm.
over where I put my hand. And I don't know why I focused because it was so clear, okay? And I said, what if it's stuck in there? What if I need to dissolve it, shake it up and do something to it? And it did something. 10 minutes later, he like ran to use the bathroom. But
Yeah, the
I
courage.
that's exactly what I did, and that's exactly how it started, just with me like just playing around. Like I put my hand over him if something will happen.
And that was around the time that you were taking the last class, right? You were in the coaching class with us because I remember you
Hmm.
doing it with the group as well and getting the book. I can't remember the name of the book. I call it the Hands book, but I
Hands
know
of
it's not
Healing.
Hands of Healing.
I love that book. That
That
is,
is, if you guys are interested in doing um, energetic healing, that is a great book to
mhm.
use. It gives you great illustrations and very simple, easy directions. And it's called Hands of
Yeah,
Healing. So if you're interested in that, check out that book.
and
Um,
very descriptive everything on how to use a pendulum to measure the chakras and direction they're going on, whether they're black, not black, and it's very descriptive,
yeah.
very, very descriptive. And it's got the charts. So in one of the charts, like in the middle of the book, I was like, that's exactly what I saw. It looked just like that in my head. And to me, that was the aha moment. Like, this is what you did. You did something with your hand to help them.
It's interesting because this past Sunday we did the trifecta, the healing event with Deb, myself, and Salome.
Hmm.
And I started, how I can see energy and how it moves, and I can see like where energy is stuck, and where people might be having some health issues or pain issues. And but my hands weren't needed at all. And I felt so like I was having to really process, come to terms, talk myself down
Hmm.
of like having to move my hands, right? Because
So
you
you were
always see.
focusing on doing the movements
Well,
when
no,
you didn't need
they're like
to.
stop moving your hands. Your hands aren't needed. They're like just sit there and visualize what the intention you want for the person.
Uh-huh.
So see, visualize and see what the issue is, and then visualize and see the intent of the healing that you want and the removal that you want. And without even
Hmm.
moving my hands, I started seeing the energy move, and I started seeing all that happen. It was a challenge for me because I have always seen healing done with people moving their hands,
Hmm.
right? And for me to just sit there and just visualize and setting intentions and doing the work that way, it was uncomfortable. It
Okay.
was so uncomfortable. And I'm like, and my guides were like, don't move your hands. I'm like, hmm.
Okay, I did it for Michelle too. Now with the hand movement thing as well. So when I did it for Michelle and a group of friends, the only so I've only done it intuitively, right? I only follow my body, because it feels like I've done it before. Like it feels like I know how to do this, right? Even though in this lifetime I haven't taken a Reiki class, I haven't taken any healing type of class, right? So if I feel that if I were next to that person and I did a certain something with my hands on their physical body, then I move my hands. So for one of my friends of ours, I felt like a lot of pressure on the stomach, and I remembered when I was little, my aunt used to like rub and push downwards on my stomach to sort of help with that pressure, with the constipation, with the like bloating that you feel. So I did the movement and it added pressure towards her. I actually felt this movement on her stomach. But that's like when I feel like I need to move my hands for extra pressure, then I move my hands. I
Yeah.
did it to Deb was it Deb? For back, for lower back. So I felt
Ooh.
like a bone was sort of sticking out. And from going to the chiropractor so much, I was like, I need to push that bone in. So I like pushed into it until it felt like it was just right, and I let go. So that's how I move, but I'm not able to do the movements like people do.
Yeah.
So I only move when I feel it's necessary for extra pressure.
I love
But
that.
that's so crazy that like it's just like a knowing, like a
It is. It's
thing.
just a knowing. It's a knowing. And there's different types of practice. There's so many different types of practice of energetic healing. You can always add on to, what you're trying to do, what you're trying to work on. But I'm curious, what do you think was the point where you felt like you could trust your intuition and trust what you were receiving to be able to heal?
Oh, for other people, especially. Well, I already told you, I had guinea pigs for months. I had, I practiced. Okay, so first on my husband, because he was the first one I put my hand over and saw something. So he was my first guinea pig. And then my son. Okay, so my son was having a hard time at school. And when I first started, I thought I needed all the crystals for all the chakras and they needed to match and I needed to use those, right? And one of these things with the crystals, I did help my son with the green fluorite for his mind. He was having the hardest time in school. We had the parent teacher conference and they said, I know your son is smart, but he's not getting through the test and he's not doing this. So I took my green fluorite and I took some stuff out of his head. I don't know what I took out, but I was pulling and pulling. That whole week after, aced on this test. He was doing really good in math. Everything just started clicking. Like it took a fog or gunk or something out from his brain. But right after that, I heard, I don't remember if it was a meditation or a dream, but I heard, you don't need any of that. And what they meant was the crystals. I was trying too hard to have the crystals for the tools for the healing, and they said all you need is your hands. And I think it was a little bit after you did a card pull for me, it came in through you, to tell you when I meditate or activate before I work to imagine that I'm a tree. That branches come out of my head and that roots come out from under my feet. And that is exactly what I needed. That is the best way I connect. That I do that every time before all my readings. I turn into a tree. Branches come out of my head, roots come out of my feet. I turn on all the light bulbs and that activates everything. And when I do healing, I do that sigil that my guides gave you to give to me.
Yeah.
And it's like a button, like an
It
activator
is. It's
button.
like an
So I draw it with
activation
my
button.
finger and I push on it and it lights up.
I love that. It's like, here you go.
And to me, it still sounds crazy because I'm talking about it. And anybody that doesn't know or hasn't experienced stuff like this will think I'm crazy. But that's exactly what I do. And it works. And it connects me to whoever I'm going to work on.
Love it. And what is even
Yeah.
more interesting about it is we have to understand that the crystals, the cards, everything else is the tools, right? We don't need those. They're fun, but we don't need them. And we have to not become reliant on them because sometimes we end up hiding behind them, which is an interesting thing too.
True. Because I was, okay, when I started with the crystals and focusing, I was focusing too much on learning which crystal I was supposed to use for each energy center and making sure I had them all. And if I didn't have it, which one could I use for the other one? And they told me you don't need any of that. All you need is your hands. And I was like, what? Like they're so pretty. Look, I got one right here.
Oh, thank you, Studio 16. But that's the truth, right? Because we get stuck on it and then you end up hiding behind them, is what I see a lot of times, is you end up hiding,
Okay.
right? Like, oh, hey, Steph. You're no longer channeling and stuff like that because that's why I told you don't focus on like the tarot meaning, focus on the
Yeah.
message you're receiving because then it's like
Hmm.
you're opening yourself up to channeling and really
Yeah.
receiving those messages openly versus reading from a piece of paper or a book.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's exactly what happened on Friday.
Love it.
Like I was just like the message was coming in clear and the cards were coming out to match. Yeah. That was, I don't know. It was nuts.
What's a wax and bone reading? I'm gonna have to check this out.
Okay, so wax is
I mean,
so
I know
there's like a bowl of
bones.
water.
Okay.
and a candle, right? And you pour the wax with intention, like when you're going in to do a tarot reading or when you're going in to do any kind of reading, right? You're connecting to that person's energy. You pour the wax, and a shape comes out, and it's sometimes it's a you can tell, like you can see it in detail. Sometimes it's a tree. Sometimes, the other day she got a dragon, and this person works with dragons. Their spirit guides are dragons, and it made sense. The dragon was like had a wing over like what looked like a person right here, and she would not let her read past that. She would not let her get through. She was like protecting his energy. It was so cool. So that's a wax reading. It turns into a little figure and you read based on that, but she gets the messages through that, through doing that and reading the little wax.
That's actually really, really cool.
Mhm.
I'll have to
Yeah,
watch.
so and the bones are different bones or pieces. So she has a coin, she has a bone,
Yeah,
she
bones
has,
I'm familiar with. I'm familiar with bones. I wasn't
yeah.
familiar with wax.
Now I saw somebody doing readings. So
Mm.
they did the same thing with these like little metal charms. So they set the intention or program each little piece to do different things and they know what it signifies and they have a little chart and they throw them on the thing and how they land. That's your reading. And it resonated with everybody. I was watching it. Like it was so cool, but it seems so complicated, knowing what all the little pieces and mixing them together. And if they're close to another one, that seems a lot more complicated to me, but it seems so cool. So we have a friend that does the bone readings, and Jen was in here a little bit ago, so she was going to do Oracle. So we decided all four of us, let's just go in, for fun. I'll do tarot, you do
Oh
wax,
my
and
god,
you do
that would be
bone.
so much fun. Yeah. So that's
Yeah,
tonight.
because
I have to
all
watch
four of
this
us will
now.
do a different thing.
This is all going
So
to be
I
tonight.
told them, I'll start with the tarot. And then when I'm done with the tarot, either you like the wax or the bone, you guys go next. And then while you guys are doing that, I'll do some energy healing. And then Jen can finish off with the oracle for a last like affirmation to kind of go on.
Oh, I gotta check this out. I absolutely. Someone asked a question about Sunday. So, okay, with accessing the Akashic records,
Oh
absolutely.
yeah.
I'm gonna walk you through the steps of accessing the Akashic records, and um, you can get a recording. I'd rather you on Sunday be present to just be able to experience what you're gonna experience, rather than trying to take note of everything and try and remember like how to access it. But you can always listen to the recording again and go through the motions again so that you can access them when you're on your own, because
Hmm.
you can absolutely access them anytime, when you're ready to and you're open to it. You can access the Akashic records and get the messages that you guys are ready to receive. Does everyone know what the Akashic records are? If you don't know what the Akashic records are, just put it in the comments and I'll get into it a little bit more.
Hmm.
But yeah.
I know I didn't know the first time in one of your classes you said we're doing this. And I was like, what is that?
There
Where are we going? Where are you taking us?
we go. There we go. One of
Okay,
my
Deb. Thank you for hanging out.
favorites one to do is going on the journey to connect with a lost loved one.
Okay. And you can do that through there, can't you? Or
You
no?
can, yeah, but I have people walk through a journey. It's like you cross over the bridge, and right in the
Uh-huh.
middle of the bridge, there's a portal, and on the other side is so that's the veil. So on the other side
Okay.
is the person that you've lost. So you can walk through the veil to be able to connect with them.
So
That's what I love to do.
when I connect to my loved ones, because okay, I don't like saying this because I don't want people to ask about mediumship. I only go and try and connect with my loved ones, right? And I know the place where they're at. I know how to get there. I know how to get there if I want to talk to them, connect with them, and they're all there. Like my grandma, my uncle, they're all there together. I know how to get there because I try to do it often and I talk to them all the time, like if they're right next to me. But is that how you tap in for other people's, like the same place? I just feel like everybody's there, like
Yeah,
not just mine.
yeah. No, you don't have to do a separate practice. Like it's not something separate of you connecting with your lost loved ones compared to doing a reading and connecting to someone else.
I'm still not
right?
comfortable
It's
yet
not
opening up to
differences.
everybody
Yeah.
else's loved ones. Like I'm comfortable
Yep.
with my
It's
own.
not separate. Mhm.
But I feel
Yeah.
like
No, this is a journey of to do.
yesterday I might have tapped into somebody's loved one unintentionally. Unless, can they become their guide?
This is debatable. Like a lot of people say yes, a lot of people say no. I am the type of person that says yes,
Hmm.
because they are here to help and guide you no matter what,
Yeah.
whether they're living in physical world or they're not. Believe it or not, they're still guiding you and they're still supporting you, right? Because it's just different in the physical world
Hmm.
than it is in the spirit world.
Because
So no matter
I
what,
always think my intention is to tap into your guide with the highest good in mind, right? Yours, like the person I'm reading. But in the middle of this or at the beginning of it, I got a sharp like pain right here and here. And I was connecting, but I kept connecting to that, whatever that was. And I kept going, but I still had like that thing right there. And she, everything resonated with her. But the head thing or the specific spot and exactly how I described it, she thought of her sister, but her sister passed from a brain aneurysm.
oh wow,
So I didn't know if she was the one that went in and that's why I got the thing and that's who was like
right there, yeah.
leading like the message or whatnot. But I never intentionally like tapped in specifically like to her loved one, you know?
Yeah, no, sometimes they'll just come through. So healing past and no, they don't know what their Akashic. So the Akashic records, the best way to describe the Akashic records is look at it as like another dimension, a higher level, and it's very close to like Christ consciousness level. So probably around the 12th.
Hmm.
And it's a library. That's the best way for me to explain it. It's a library,
Yeah.
and it has everything that has been, is, or will be available in the Akashic records. So you go in there and seek information about past lives, about
Hmm.
something you're going through currently, about the future,
Something
and
you want to learn.
something you want to learn.
I love that one.
Um, I have someone coming on Sunday. This is an interesting one. They have been having nightmares. And they're like,
Mm.
why do I have such a fear of my children passing? Now, of course, parents, we always have that fear, but this one's becoming a little bit like significant. And I
Very
said,
repetitive.
yeah, and this fear is really taking over. And I
Hmm.
said, come to the Akashic Records on Sunday because that's a great place when you're experiencing something like that and be like, okay, give me clarity on this. Why am I experiencing these nightmares?
Yeah.
And what you'll see a lot of times is you possibly had past lives that have not been healed that you're still carrying that energy with. There could be something in your childhood that has triggered this in some way. So, and then you can go and you can release cords and you can do healing to help you move past it, like help you move through it.
Hmm.
So, for me, the Akashic Records is a great place to do healing.
Yeah.
Right?
I
You?
I got some physical healing
Mm-hmm.
through, I don't know if I should talk about it or not, but I talked about it last night when we did it. I didn't know you could do that. I had been going to the chiropractor for 4 years to try and fix this chronic pain. When the first time I went to the Akashic Records with Julianna, I specifically wanted to see this past lifetime that I had a flashback from when I was 12 years old. So I that was the first one I wanted to see, like get the whole picture. And it got rid of the wrist pain and the ankle pain I had had forever. Physical pain. Because I released the binding from that life.
Yep.
And it doesn't hurt anymore. It still hasn't. It's been years.
And that's the beauty of it, right? Like when you can go and you can kind of look at it and see what exactly is going on, that's where you can help and move forward with the energy, move the energy out. The Akashic Records is a great place to get clarity on something.
Hmm.
When you're not seeing something completely clear, the Akashic Records is going to show you again. what led up to it, what's currently happening, and the different paths that the future could possibly go down.
Yeah,
So it's really interesting.
there's so much in there.
It really
And all
is.
you have to do is like the intention you go in with, they direct you to it, to whatever you. I love going in there just to learn.
Yeah.
And it's so cryptic, so I have to figure out afterwards like what she meant. Like last night, I was like, "What do you mean? Listen to what I hear." I got it like 10 minutes later, but I love going in there to learn and pick up new skills or something new. I think I went in there the last time before I started healing other people, like people I don't know. They baptized me in a pond
Interesting.
when I wanted to really receive the full gift of healing. So first they healed my whole body, then they dipped me in a pond, like
Ooh, that's powerful.
in there, and then took me back out.
So the energy of a lake is actually, when you read about the spiritual energy of a lake, it's actually very, very potent when it comes to healing and
Hmm.
spiritual work. So that's actually pretty interesting.
Yep. And
The things that they dunked you
I
in
don't want
there.
to say coincidentally because everything happens for a reason. So I still go to church and help out. What that same week on the weekend, he was talking about baptism and how we receive our spiritual gifts. Specifically, those words he used in his homily. How we receive our spiritual gifts through baptism. That was what he talked about that week, the week that that happened to me in meditation.
I love that. I love that.
Synchronicities.
We are so on our retreat in October. I'm gonna do. I don't know exactly. It's gonna be like a baptism, but there's gonna be something that we're gonna do in the lake to help cleanse and activate everyone's spiritual gifts.
Yeah.
So it's funny that you said that because that's one of the things that we're gonna do.
Yeah. I'm
This
telling
is
you,
really
that's what they did. They dipped me and baptized me, and then my healing expanded. I don't know if that's the right word. Like it enhanced what I started feeling, but it became automatic. It wasn't like I had to turn it on again. No, now it's like instant.
yeah.
After that, now it's instant. As soon as I connect to somebody, I start feeling the energy centers and or physical, whatever.
Have you heard of the illumination process?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna have to send you this one because this is really cool. Because you do healing in person, right? Some of the healing you do is in person.
Um, Kinda. I mean, I've tried it with my husband, my son, and my aunt. I did go and help her out.
I gotta tell you this one because this is one that I'm really excited to do, and I'm gonna do it at the retreat because I don't do healing much in person, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it virtually. But
Mm-hmm.
you take your fingers, and
Uh-huh.
like right there at the bottom of your skull where it connects to your neck.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you sit there and hold the person's head like this. Okay, so their
Mm-hmm.
head right there, your fingers are right at the where the skull connects to the neck, and
Okay.
you sit there for like 10 minutes, just connecting in.
Well, because
And
once you do this thing, the energy comes out through
yeah, yeah.
your
So you're
tips.
pulling straight like source
Yeah.
energy out through you into the tips of your fingers, right into that. And this is the connection area, if you didn't know.
Okay.
When you
No, yeah,
channel, this is where you
I
connect.
felt certain
Yeah.
things here. Like when I've had to detach anything, that's happened twice. Any like energy vampires or the yucky things or whatever, that's where they attach, right here. And that's where I have to like pull them off. Actually, I had a nightmare the other day about one attaching and I have a spirit guide that's my protector. He's a Sasquatch. Okay. He pulled this thing off and started beating it up and got rid of it for me. But this is always where they try to attach.
Yeah.
Why is that? Is that like a strong like
This is a
receptor
real,
energy
this
center?
is like, yeah, this is a really strong energy. Like when you are looking, if you read a lot of books about connection, about channeling, and everything else, this is like a big piece of where
Okay.
energetically it connects in. And so when you're sitting there, you sit there for 10 minutes and you hold them, and what happens is your energies become one and you're starting to flow
Uh-huh.
through. and you start seeing in their chakras and everything else what needs work. But what you do is you go up to your eighth chakra and you open up your eighth chakra,
Hmm.
okay, which is pretty much divine light, and you scoop
Yeah.
out the light and put it into each of their chakras.
Okay.
That's why they call it the illumination process, right? Because you're scooping out the
Uh-huh.
light and putting it into the chakras. And then you balance the chakras and close them up and stuff. But it's supposed to be like this very powerful healing process that comes through because you
Hmm.
become a straight conduit of source energy.
Yeah. And I mean, that's how I connect.
Mm-hmm.
When you, after you told me about the tree thing, just visualizing the branches coming out of my head. It's like uh, uh, the antennas come out, right? So now I'm more receptive when these branches come out of my head. And then I bring the light from way up high, bring it through, just pull it all through me down to the roots. And I'm pure light. And that is what I send. Like that's what I feel that I send. That's what I and then, so everybody I've done it for, they end up feeling peace and love and just calmness. But that's what I try to connect to, and that's what I try to put out.
But my goal with this one, with holding this, is I want to tap in and see if I can connect in and see the blockages of why the person's not connecting.
With more detail.
Mhm.
Yeah. Because all I feel is the specific energy centers, but I also get emotions attached to it, or I get the physical feelings of the physical body, or just the energy centers and the emotion. It's like a mix. Like I didn't know I could do all that. After that baptism thing in that meditation, everything just automatically like
I'm telling you,
happened.
there's always a catalyst. There's always something that you do, and you never think about it, right? It's not like you said, okay, I'm going to go get baptized, and then I'm going to open up all my spiritual gifts. No, it was just something that you was brought to you on a
Hmm.
journey in the Akashic Records, and you said, okay, let's go, and open it up. So there's always like a
Yeah.
catalyst of
Well, I went in there
your choice.
wanting to understand my healing better and be accepting if I am a healer to accept it fully. So that was, I went in with that intention. So they healed me, baptized me, and expanded like my gift. Like, okay, here you go.
You want it,
Ask
here
and you
you
shall
go.
receive.
Oh, thank you, Deanna. Um, but it's really, truly beautiful. What do you think was your, because I know what mine was. What was your hesitation with healing?
Um,
What was your biggest block? What was the biggest one that really,
Having someone not feel it.
mm, not having a physical reaction?
I
Yeah.
haven't had that yet. So it's given me a confidence boost. Like my biggest fear was trying to connect and trying to send energy, knowing I'm sending it, and the person saying they don't feel anything. That was like my biggest fear, but it hasn't happened yet. Okay.
What do you, so what was, when that does happen, how do you think you're going to handle it?
Um, I don't know. I'd probably look into feeling their blockages, first of all, because even with my husband, and I think I've gotten the most training with my husband on
Yeah.
this because it was hard for me to connect at first, but he wasn't connecting. He wasn't calm. He was grumpy because he was in physical pain, right? So understandably. So I had to learn to calm him down enough, bring his frequency to match mine because he was so in so much physical pain, he just couldn't connect. He couldn't focus. So my job was to get him to focus. And then we connected, and then he felt me. So I had a lot of practice.
I love that. I love that. And not everybody is going to feel, right? We talk about that all the time,
Yeah.
that everybody has different experiences depending on what we're doing. Um, because I've taken people on journeys and they're like, I didn't see anything, I didn't experience anything, nothing. And I'm like, that's where you are right now. For whatever reason, that's just where you are right now. And it does. You have to have a level of confidence.
Yeah. But I think that comes in acceptance, though. I'm telling you, I got a lot of practice with my husband. The willingness to receive it,
Mhm. It's a
that
big, big
counts
thing.
a lot. Because if you're doing extra, go ahead, send me some energy, but you're not really willing to receive it, you're not going to receive it.
Well, if you have doubt, they have doubt. Like this
Hmm.
isn't real.
Like this isn't gonna
Prove it
work.
to me. The prove it to me one. The prove it. You asked me that question on a video. What do you do when someone says prove it to me?
Yeah, yeah. Because if you want to receive, you're opening yourself up to receiving. You will receive it. You will. You have to want to receive it, and then you will. Like that's been my experience so far, just with other people. But that was my biggest fear, just sending out my energy and going nowhere. Like it's just missing the target type of thing.
That was a
But
perfect.
yeah,
Yeah, I forgot you made that comment, but yeah, there was a when they come in and they say prove it, prove it, prove it, prove it. It's like you're not gonna feel anything. There's no point.
yeah. Because if you're not accepting it, you're not willing to receive it, you're not going to. That goes the same with messages, right? Because I connect to people's energy. I connect directly to their energy. If they're really kind of going in there, just messing around, just playing, not really willing to receive a message, I'm not going to be able to connect to them energetically as strongly as someone else who really does want to send their spirit guide my way to give me the message to give to them. It's got to be a two-way connection, not just me receiving and sending. We both have to connect our energies for it to work, for it to be clear. Like you said, clarity. That is the best way to do it. Both of us connecting, you allowing me to talk to your guide, you receiving the message. You're going to get the message you're meant to receive. So it's got to
Yeah,
be a two-way
exactly.
thing.
Oh, thank you, Buddha. And for me, it's like I feel the wall. I immediately like as soon as I connect in, it's like hitting a wall
Hmm.
and nothing. And I'm like, oh, okay, I know exactly what we're doing here. And the person's just completely closed off.
Yeah. I mean, fortunately enough for me, I think that's why I got the courage, like the boost. I I've gotten the right people coming in
Mhm.
through my lives. A lot of spiritual people, open people. I've only been coming on live for like a week, but I've been
So,
fortunate enough to just get like people who are open to it.
yes, exactly. I had a
Oh no.
session where someone was texting and playing with their dog, and it was hard to get in. It is, yeah. It's really hard when they're not, centered and focused themselves to try and pull that information out.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, it's got to be a two-way thing. If they're distracted, disconnected, just ignoring, just off somewhere, they're just sitting there because they made the book the appointment with you. Like it's not the same when you're fully connected.